So, what if the universe wasn't just some random accident? What if, underneath all the chaos we think we see, there's a kind of hidden blueprint, a master code that governs everything from the tiniest particle to the grand sweep of cosmic history? Well, today we're diving into a perspective that says that's exactly what's going on.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? Is there some kind of underlying order, a secret rhythm to everything? The source material we're looking at today offers a truly mind-bending and honestly beautiful answer to that very question.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to uncover this secret code. Then we'll get into the two forces that drive it all, light versus fire. After that, things get wild. We'll look at this idea of prophets as quantum operators. From there, we'll see how this whole model tackles some huge cosmic puzzles. And finally, we'll bring it all right back home, to you. All right, let's jump right in. Section 1. The universe's secret code. This is where we lay the foundation for this incredible idea, a universe that operates on a divine rhythm, a sacred pulse that runs through absolutely everything. And here it is, the core thesis. The perspective we're exploring suggests that the Quran is more than scripture. It's the actual operating system for the cosmos. And the fundamental beat, the rhythm of that code, is this powerful three-step process: light into dark, and then a return. Okay, so let's get into the engine that powers this entire system, this duality between light and fire. According to this framework, these two forces are what shape, well, everything. This slide really gets to the heart of it. The idea is that reality is being shaped by two divine actions happening at the very same time. On one side, you've got light, or nur. This is expansion. It builds, it reveals, it gives life. And on the other side, you have fire, or nar. This is collapse. It tests, it exposes, and it causes a return to the source. But here's the key. This isn't just a chaotic tug-of-war. The whole system is described as one of incredible precision. Truth, it says, emerges at something called the caustic point. You can almost think of it like the focal point of a magnifying glass, right? It's that exact spot where these two forces, light and fire, meet and reality just snaps into focus with perfect clarity. And this idea of a structured, precise reality is woven right into verses like this one from the Quran. It speaks of a layered, ordered creation that is always under divine watch. It points to a cosmos that is designed, not just accidental. Okay, now get ready, because this next part is where this ancient cosmology connects with modern science in a pretty stunning way. We're going to look at prophets not just as historical messengers, but as, believe it or not, operators who embody fundamental laws of physics. Now, to really get what's coming next, we need a super quick crash course on something from quantum physics called quantum tunneling. It's a totally bizarre but real phenomenon where a tiny particle can do the impossible. It can pass right through a solid barrier it shouldn't be able to cross. Seriously, it's like throwing a tennis ball at a brick wall and having it just appear on the other side. Just keep that crazy idea in your head for a second. And boom, here's where it all connects. The source material draws these amazing parallels between quantum mechanics and spiritual laws in the Quran. So remember that quantum tunneling thing we just talked about? Well, it's shown here as the equivalent of the story of the prophet Ibrahim, where the fire he was thrown into was made cool and safe for him. It's an act of mercy that lets him pass through an otherwise impossible, deadly barrier.
And you see the pattern, right? At the heart of all of it, whether we're talking about quantum particles or prophets, is that same fundamental rhythm: light into dark, and then the return. It's presented as the core process for everything, from the journey of a photon to the journey of your soul.
So now, let's zoom all the way out and see how this model works on the biggest scale imaginable, because it also offers a really unique take on one of the greatest puzzles in modern cosmology: how the universe began and how it might end. So there's this massive problem that has physicists really scratching their heads. It's called the Hubble tension. Basically, when they measure how fast the universe is expanding using data from the early universe, they get one number. But when they measure it using data from the universe today, they get a different, faster number. And they can't figure out why. The solution offered by this framework is pretty elegant. It says, what if it's not a contradiction? What if you're just looking at one single, unchanging reality, but through two different lenses? The tension is just the result of these two different perspectives, or projections, of the same event. And this leads to a pretty radical idea about the end of time. In this view, the universe doesn't just fizzle out or crunch back down.
Instead, all falsehood collapses, and reality performs a kind of cosmic reset. It's not annihilation, it's an inversion.
So we've gone from the quantum to the cosmic. But what does any of this mean for us, right here, right now? Well, this final section is maybe the most important, because it brings this entire grand narrative down to a deeply personal level. It's about you.
This cosmology uses the story of Noah's Ark as a powerful metaphor, but it suggests salvation isn't some loud, dramatic rescue mission. It's quiet. It's silent. It's built from the planks of an ordered life, a life shaped by divine signs, all held together by the nails of fixed divine law.
You know, we hear a lot about the third eye in spiritual circles. This framework redefines it in a really grounded way. It's not some mystical power. It's simply the heart's ability to see the signs, to recognize the code that's already embedded in the world all around us. It's about being aware enough to see the beautiful pattern in the chaos.
And this really brings it all home. Being aligned with this master code isn't something you wait for. It's a state of being, right now. Those who hold the book, the code, with strength are described as already being on the ark. They are already on that silent, continuous journey of returning, long before things get chaotic.
So we end with the question this entire framework leaves us with. If the Quran is the code for a perfected reality, then the challenge isn't just to read it, or even to understand it, but to become it. The cosmic explanation turns into a deeply personal challenge. When will you become the living code? And that's a profound thought to sit with.